best 10 years I was in the Negro Leagues because you know, gonna run, hit, field, throw, hit with power, and you know, young, and you know, felt good every day, and that kind of thing. So it was quite a interesting experience.
Before the 1920s, baseball was played by both black and white men alike. However, due to racial segregation, blacks were no longer allowed to play in the major leagues. This upset a lot of people, and they began to create their own leagues to rival the all-white league that was already widely popular. These leagues began to arise throughout the early 1920s. The first of these leagues to be successful was the National Negro League, which had members from the South and Midwest. The first team in this league was established on February 13, 1920. 3 years later, the Eastern Colored League was founded. These leagues create a system similar to the American League and the National League did in the MLB. The Negro Leagues even had their own World Series. However, the National Negro League's time in the limelight was short-lived. In 1928, the Eastern Colored League collapsed and was replaced by the American Negro League. The Negro Leagues continued to exist until the 1960s. They were done away with after the segregation in baseball had finally ended and a unified league was created. The first person to start chipping away at the color barrier in baseball was Jackie Robinson. In 1947, he became the first African American to play in the MLB since the beginning of the segregation in baseball. He debuted with the Brooklyn Dodgers and played his entire career with them, ending in 1956. Over his illustrious career, he earned several awards, including the first ever Rookie of the Year award in 1947, League MVP in 1949, and appeared in 6 World Series championships, winning once in 1955. Because of his numerous accomplishments, he was the first African American to be inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1962. He set the tone for many after him to come into the MLB and have a successful career. The same year Jackie Robinson broke into the MLB, Larry Doby also made his debut. Doby became the first African American to win a World Series championship. Another accomplishment of Doby's was that he was the first African American to hit a home run in a World Series. Although Doby played in the MLB at the same time as Jackie Robinson and won a championship before him, he never got the same attention Robinson received. One of the most impressive accomplishments of the players from the Negro Leagues was when Leroy Robert Satchel Paige was inducted into the Hall of Fame. His time in the MLB was limited, but during his career in the Negro Leagues, he was the best of the best. Even though his rookie season in the MLB was at the age of 42, he was given credit for his time in the Negro Leagues, and based on that, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Aside from the individual accomplishments of some of the players who impacted the game, it is important to look at how the game was ultimately changed because of the addition of African American players. The viewership and the extravagance of the sport was irreversibly affected because it opened the game up to a whole new group of people eager to enjoy the game. Records held before this point were shattered due to the inclusion of all great athletes, regardless of skin color. It was also important for America as a whole, lessening the amount of racism some people in America still felt towards African Americans. Because of all this, the breaking of the color barrier in baseball had a much more profound influence than meets the eye.